Here we go, guys. Ready? Welcome to another edition of the Motley Croc Show. We had to wait on Brittany because she actually came up this time. So we were trying to get her in and get her situated. And so we are live now about 41 seconds, it looks like. So I got some of the homies in the back. Looks like Jeff's getting ready. And then
hey, what's going on, y'all?
Brett.
What's up?
Yeah,
Stars and Croc Stars. What's up, Brett?
How you doing?
Good,
How's
good.
everybody been?
Good,
Good.
man. I just got off 3 nights in a row working. I made it through the full moon unscathed. So,
What's up, Michelle?
what's up, Michelle?
So how's the weather been in good old Colorado there, Mr. Brett?
It can't make up its mind.
Right.
That was Florida a couple weeks ago.
Smoky with
I'm
the
waiting
chance of
I'm waiting for the springtime to hit. We just got 4 inches of snow the other night, and now it was about 64 degrees today. So
That's like
You got 4 inches of sun today.
there you go. Get it out of your system.
4 inches of sun today. It's awesome.
But,
It is the full moon shift.
yeah, buddy. It was. It's usually freaking nuts. Last night was okay though. Had a couple of strange ones, but nothing crazy.
I think it's
just
awesome.
watching people on the ventilators.
Oh,
A few
geez.
sad cases. You know how it is.
Yep,
Hey,
We had a
saving lives.
that's right.
And I was over today at INSA, Jeff.
Oh, what's that? Oh, you what at INSA?
I went and got some flower at INSA, and then you sent me a whole bunch of flower pictures. And
I know
other
that's funny, man.
and then
What's up, Michael?
there's fucking Brett that can go get whatever the fuck he wants at any rate, and we're all like, oh well, this is gonna be
Hey, what's up, Michael?
much. So there's a new dispensary that opened up here, Brett. Medical dispensary that opened up. That's a lot like the out west ones, where like they have a smell bar and you can sample. And it's
Love the smell bar, dude.
and you know what you're getting.
I go in there just for the smell bar, and then maybe I buy something. What'd you get at INSA?
What's up, Michael? Oh, a bunch of flower. I just got a bunch of hybrid and some indica, so I can just go to bed.
Nice. Oh, the best thing to sleep from there is the SD4, the Sunshine Daydream 4. That's the sleep. That's the sleep weed.
Well, that sounds delicious. What's good out there, Brett? Why don't you just tell us what's the haps on the craps?
What about the dispensaries?
Yeah, are they good there?
You walk into them, they look like the Hilton Hotel out here. They don't even look like dispensaries anymore. You walk in, you got like a greeter that greets you at the door and gives you some cheesy ass line just to make you smile. You walk through. They pretty much walk you up to the counter. You get whatever you want.
That's what they do at this place. It's like one-on-one. They get like kind of some one-on-one service there. It's very personal kind of thing, and they have the smell bar. And
let me tell you something,
cheap
Brett.
weed.
I remember when that type of dispensary was the trunk of a car behind the Twin Peaks Mall.
Oh yeah.
My God, Twin Peaks Mall.
Oh yeah, man, dude. I used to call my girl and meet her at the freaking shopping center back in the day.
Hey, guys got hip to it because a lot of times they were the guys were riding around with backpacks on and their bicycles, and then it became really obvious, and then they were getting robbed.
In New York City, they did that, man. All the weed delivery dudes, they come bring it to your door.
I know, isn't that crazy?
Yeah, they do that now though. INSA does you get a free delivery. Your first one's free from there, so if you don't feel like leaving the house.
That's pretty cool. Who would have thought in Florida?
Right, dude?
We're like the most crazy state in the world. We're going to be carrying guns without, and I don't want to hear any flack about it. Whoever's going to comment, carrying guns without permit, whatever. But then you go out places out west where Colorado's like, yeah, come on in, smoke weed. Let me give you a cheesy line at the door and blah, blah, blah. And then Florida, it's only medical. If you're caught, is it not in the medical package, son? You're going to, come on.
Oh, it's ridiculous, dude. And we should have recreational here already. It failed on the ballot in 20. They weren't able to get it on in 22. So it's like, I'm hoping and praying that 24 it'll finally be on the ballot, or one of our crazy administrations will step up and just say, hey, this shit does not need to be scheduled.
Oh, don't forget, we still have what's his ass. I like him so much. I remember his name, so I really don't care. The governor. DeSantis. He doesn't like the way marijuana smells, so he doesn't think
I don't like the way he smells. How about that?
Yeah, I know.
Right.
What's up, Seth? How you living? So I don't know. There's just so many mixed regulations and this and that everywhere, all over the place, all the time.
Yeah, even though I'm not a big fucking Trump
What's up,
fan,
Judy?
I do love that he called him Meatball Ron. He's my kind of piece of shit sometimes.
There's so much stuff right now going on, man, that like it's this whole wave of everything like coming and going and changing and
Dude,
going
it's crazy.
back. And everybody's like, wow, that's a little too extreme, you know, that's a little too much. And then it goes back to this, and then it goes back to that, and it's always like this.
We're never going to get anything done. That's the whole problem, man. Seriously, that
Well,
no matter who's in charge, the other side can fight.
Well, there's way too much Facebook brigades, dude. These little marches that they have online, and then they film themselves protesting or screaming in the mall or whatever the fuck they do. I mean,
right.
You know what? I'm a firm believer.
You're about to get into a fight. That's what used to happen.
It repeats itself all the time. Be very careful, folks, because you're going to be on your way for a while, but we're going to be coming up, man. When we come up, things are going to be a little bit different. A little slap in the mouth here and there.
Right?
Yeah,
I'm telling you,
people over in other countries get tired of it, and they just drive tanks over everybody in the middle of the street. They get sick of them, and they just drive over them. And then everybody's like, oh, my God, look what they've done. It's like, look, y'all do shit. You know what you're doing when you get out there. We all know what we do when we break the law. So, you know, you're going to pay to play, man.
Walk around and find out, man.
That's right.
I think Confucius said that.
Well, that's the way we lived. I mean, I miss it, Brett. I miss those days where you could just do whatever. And sometimes I like having shit a little illegal. It's kind of fun to get away with shit once in a while, you know?
Well, I mean, if you look at the technology today, they have people now. Like there's guys giving deliveries. They're making a little pack on their drones, and they're flying it over to wherever the guy's house is. They drop the drone off of their front lawn. They take the weed, which is funny as hell to me, and then they put the money in there, and it flies back to the guy. Because they're just too fucking lazy.
Smart. They'll fucking take the money first.
Well, I mean, it's getting to that point to where, I mean, just the town over. You remember Berthoud, guys?
Hell yes, I remember Berthoud.
Yeah.
All right. Well, Berthoud's blown up. I mean, it used to be places where we go fishing and ride dirt bikes, but
there was 10 people there, and they were alumni. Because
I think I've driven through there. I was going to say,
Berthoud alumni.
Berthoud, Colorado. Well, when they had all the guys coming down, all the protesters, the BLM guys that came down, that whole town walked them out gunpoint.
I saw that.
It's still like that. I mean, it's still like, and the cops didn't do anything. They're like, you might want to leave. I mean, what are you going to do?
Because we get it. What's up, Shirley? Because we get into this whole thing where
Shirley, what's up?
Political movements and shit, and that's great and everything. I just think that we're in America. Okay, still an awesome place, but I think there's boundaries on certain people and not on others. And I think that, and I say it time and time again, if you're not hurting anyone or destroying someone's property or them, do what you want. Do what you want.
Exactly, dude. That's you
could be a hater, you could be a lover, a hippie, a tree hugger, a drunk, a meth head, dude. You can sit there.
I could be a meth head
and pick scabs off at Circle K if that's what you want to do. That's your right as an American.
I think there's too many people that do that already. That job is full.
And somebody might have seen the post I did recently where we were releasing an alligator back onto Jimmy's property, where I said most of the time these animals run into problems from Karen calls. Now, I feel bad for the Karens in the world that are named Karen, because I think that they catch a lot of shit. But these people call for dumb shit. You know, like, can you imagine, Brett, the economy on elk meat if every time someone saw an elk cross their yard, called it a nuisance elk, and we had to go out and blow it away?
Yeah.
Well, they still do that now. I mean, they don't even wait for hunting season. They just call it trespass. I mean, that's what it is. But
do you see how stupid that is, though? But you don't have the state stepping in on sending someone out.
No.
That's what I mean. In Florida,
it's ridiculous.
Alligator leaves one pond to go to the other pond. They're like, oh, my God.
Right.
I'm from Illinois, and I've never seen that. 911. Most of them call 911. They don't even call. And then they're going, no.
And 911 tells them they got to pay for it.
I mean, I've been reading about it. I thought it was funny. And then some of these alligators, man, just get fucking railroaded, shot in the head, and chopped up and thrown in a truck because they just wanted to go to a different pond because people are fucking dumb.
You know what gets me, Troy?
Else they do.
People always say, oh, there's an alligator in my pond. He's not in your pond. You're on his bank.
That's right.
He was there first, and he's going to be there long after fucking you're gone.
I get it all the time. They're like, well, we moved to Florida and we've got an alligator on our back, but once it gets 6 foot, it's not safe anymore. So we're going to call the team to remove it. You're
Those are
call
the safest ones.
What team are you going to call? The A team?
Ghostbusters.
What are you doing, motherfucker? What do you mean? I've got one of those in my yard.
Michelle sent that headline today too. Yeah, Michelle, I even saw it. She sent it to me too. It was the one with
I did not, Michelle. I have not been on social media today. I've been running all over.
The murder of the family, like the alligator. It's like hold on, I'll pull it up.
Okay. So, Michelle, I did not see that, but I will, as a matter of fact, while we're talking, while Brittany's pulling it up, we can talk about. But I mean, there's just so much killing.
Florida family by an alligator.
The murder.
That was about the 2-year-old boy that was found in the alligator's mouth, but after the mom had already been
Oh
stabbed.
yeah, the father tried to get the alligator to dispose of the evidence, right?
Well, that's the thing is like I don't think that the alligator killed the child. I think that because I don't know the whole story.
Of course, the alligator didn't kill the child.
No, I know. What I'm saying is like the father of that child had already stabbed and murdered the mother, slain the mom, like stabbed her repeatedly, and then took the 2-year-old. They couldn't find the man, couldn't find the 2-year-old. The man was in prison, and then they came across like a riverbank, and this alligator had this poor infant in his mouth.
Can you guys hear Brittany clear?
Yeah, yeah, it's crazy. I think he tried to dispose of the evidence with the gators.
But no, I think he disposed of the child, he thought, in the river or in the little bank there, and the gator was like, oh, free meat.
No, he threw it in the alligator's mouth. That's what he did.
I mean, in defense of the gator, babies are pretty tender.
That's too soon.
Yeah, so you don't have to pull them under. You can just swallow them whole. But if you understand alligators, most people do not understand alligators, especially big alligators. Okay?
Yep.
Big alligators don't get that way from being dumb and hurting people. When you see big alligators they call a nuisance, those alligators are not really hardly, if at all, approaching people. I know they do from time to time. They're smart about getting away from people. They're just crossing a pond, or actually it rained, they got disoriented, and they were cutting through the street trying to get over, and they got stuck, so then it gets killed. But you have to purposely entice an alligator to try to get him to take a kid, and I think he just threw that in the alligator's mouth. However, a 2-year-old kid in an alligator's mouth, I mean, clearly if it was a big 13 or 14-foot alligator, it's going to be delicious. He's going to like fling it, and the legs are going to go over there, and he's going to swim over and get those snacks. But if you throw one to an 8-foot alligator, a 2-year-old kid, that thing's going to hold it in its mouth for a long time, hold it underwater, rip pieces off. It just doesn't eat all that. I remember when we feed Trapper a piece of a hog, and he would take the hog, but he would leave it there the whole time. It's nice. Right. He would leave it there the whole time. So the understanding of alligators, man, people just need to really do their homework before they say anything.
I mean, I just felt bad more for the family because
the alligator.
I felt bad for the alligator too because I think they killed it, and I think in both.
And he just wasn't anything. He just happened to be in the wrong place.
Yeah, I mean, both parties, like the family that had to have that happen to them, and then the alligator was caught in a horrible crime of this one person who just decided to just freak out and stab this woman and then kill
the alligator was caught doing a crime.
Terrible.
I mean, but at time, Brittany, shit happens to people every day, all day. It's the way it goes. And so, the victim in that was people getting up a bad situation, and then the alligator in the wrong. So you're right.
Right. It was just a bad place for parties involved.
So now, like the guy who brought his kid down to Disney World and purposely tried to drown his kid and blame it on an alligator. Sorry. Ricky still has our drawings, Jeff, of our tattoos with the alligator with the baby Cupid in his mouth. That says,
I love it, dude. I'm ready.
I am too. I've been waiting, bro. I've been waiting to go do it. Disney 2016. Brett, I will send you the picture of that drawing that Ricky sent us, and you'll laugh. It's hilarious. So you remember the Cupid dolls?
Yeah.
So it's like a little Cupid doll, and he's like smiling in this like cartoon-looking alligator's mouth, and it says Disney 2016. But let me tell you how stupid people are, especially Walt Disney. So the only thing good that DeSantis did is he said, you're not going to have your own police and government. You're going to knock that fairy tale shit off and fuck you. Yeah. But what was good was, Brett, was that when the alligator that the dad didn't know was either 4 foot or 8 foot, clearly, I don't know what the fuck you were thinking if you can't tell, but he's doing a 4 foot, 8 foot alligator. It is tremendously tremendously
crossing that big line
to the point of the moon crashing into Earth, tremendously different. So
now if you would have said like 3 or 4 foot, that's more realistic. But he literally
a 3 foot is not going to fucking kill.
No. What I'm saying is though, is like if somebody came out and said, I can tell you if it was an 8 or 9 footer, or I couldn't come out and tell you if it was a 6 or 7 footer. That's way more believable. But it's like literally that much of a gap. You can tell.
Okay.
It was a baby or an 11-footer. We're not sure.
So the kid was a toddler for one. The alligator was never really, I mean, I don't think they ever really found it. They just killed all like 40.
Whatever alligators were close.
Right. And really what the guy did was, I don't know any father. So when they found the kid, he was 15 foot offshore and 3.5 foot of water. So when an alligator swam by, I think the dad threw him away and ran to the shore. Because any real father had an alligator grab him, you'd be on the back of that fucking alligator. I don't care if you grew up on a farm in Ohio. You would be on the back of that alligator. So that was always fishy to me. There's signs everywhere, and everybody knows when you come to Florida or any South American country or Australia, you don't go swimming at night in places where there's crocodiles or alligators.
Yeah, even ankle deep.
There weren't signs at Disney that said that. I mean, it's not like Disney didn't have signs.
They did. It was just dumb.
About alligators.
So when people ask me at my shows, so what do you think about this? I go, they were dumb. So they get upset because I'm supposed to be like, oh no, fuck that alligator. It's a terrible piece of shit.
It was an alligator doing alligator shit. Period.
It's a wild animal.
With a very,
let me say this.
Try and blame a wild animal for being wild.
Perfect. Let me say this.
Yep. Can't blame.
We really don't have to slaughter every single alligator we catch, nor do we have to put them in captivity or whatever.
No.
We can simply do behavioral training with alligators, which is easy. I know there's a lot of people that pretend it's this fucking crazy thing, but every dumb Floridian or new person to Florida trains alligators by going over to a dock and throwing bread to birds and other little pieces of shit to the birds. And then the turtles come and they're like, oh my God, it's a soft shell turtle. Let's get him in a hot dog. And now they're throwing hot dogs in there. And what do you know? A baby alligator comes over and he's like, hey man, there's fucking hot dogs and marshmallows at Pier 4. Let's go over there and have some marshmallows and hot dogs, right? And then the other, oh, they're cute. And they watch Lake Placid. They think it's cute. They grow it up. The alligator's trained now not to eat the stupid motherfucker doing it on the dock, but to eat the shit when it hits the water. So clearly when a 6-foot alligator comes over because he thinks he's going to get a marshmallow, people are terrified because it's a demonized animal. However,
you're training it.
Flavio does this in other countries. So I know that it works because I know it works. All you have to do is catch the alligator, smack it around a little bit, poke at it, agitate it, piss it off, and let it think it got away. Do that 2 times, and then go out and try to see that alligator if he ever goes around a person again. He will never do it again. Because when you talk to trappers, you're like, that's a smart one. He got off my hook one time, and it's taken me 6 months to catch him. Does that tell you anything? That tells me that alligator is not a nuisance and wants nothing to do with people. Right. Okay. Exactly. So we could go out and we could actually do that. We could train them not to do that. But then it would cut into Florida's money in the meat market and all the other shit.
People don't get how smart they are. They really don't. And alligators, especially crocodiles, cayman, they're smart motherfuckers. You know.
Yeah, I don't believe in the whole nuisance thing. I don't still to this day, and I know people argue about it. Exactly. I do believe people say, well, you love alligators. What do you think about that fucking farming? I think it's necessary because if you didn't have alligator farming, you'd have over poaching of alligators again. And then innocent alligators would be constantly getting slaughtered and be like they do to everything else. So I believe that you should farm. Matter of fact, there's some good farms out there. The Gatorama alligator farm out there is a great place.
Awesome place.
Yep, exactly. The registers are awesome. They go out and they collect and harvest and stuff with everybody, and they do the tags and they assist. That's what you should be doing, man. That's understanding livestock or agriculture. I get it. But just a call because there's one in the pond in your backyard because you're scared of it because on Facebook you saw that it ate 10 dogs and a turtle. I mean, then you don't even know if that's the same alligator. Then you got people out there with BB guns. Or I heard people come up to me at my place that I work right now and say, yeah, we had one of those by the dock. It was about 3 foot. I tied a weight to it underwater so it couldn't breathe till it died. Then I cut it up. So all the little kids are like looking at them like, what? And there's people in the background going, God. And then I go, well, that was very barbaric, sir, and awesome. I hope you feel really big about killing a 3-foot alligator. But we're going to move on to the next thing. So, folks, what we're going to do is I just kind of like try not to acknowledge it, even though you want to say, you stupid motherfucker. Wouldn't it be great if we could really act like we wanted to, Brett? We snatch him by his
I never stopped, man.
I can't do still,
I can't where my contract is. Now, if we're at a gas station somewhere, it's a different story. But when you're at work, you just gotta sometimes you have to know, hey, most people are fucking big toes, and you have to deal with that, you know?
Oh, dude, you're preaching to the choir, man. I got to try to talk some people down. And don't get me wrong, I love my patients, man, but sometimes they fucking try my patience. You know, there's this guy.
It's best just to shut up, man. I don't even say anything. I just act like I didn't hear what they said, and I keep. Dude,
I had a guy.
I'm cold, man. I don't deal with it.
He asked me if I was Moses. I want to be like, well, I am Jewish, so 6 degrees of separation and all.
And then when he's dying, you just go, "Hey, Jesus isn't real."
Yeah.
And then walk out of the room.
He kept talking about weird shit. So I was like, oh, that sounds good. And just smile and nod, just smile and nod, boys. Just smile and nod.
I try. Believe me, where I work, I respect that place. Friends of mine.
Right. And you have to, man.
High management there.
Dollars.
Multi-million-dollar places that we go into. And I respect that. But, because that's different. When I'm on my job, I'm a job person. When I'm there to do a business, I sell a product myself. I sell a product and what I do, and I'm going to make sure
your product is you.
That's the way it's got to be. So you got to be professional no matter what's inside. Now, if we're out somewhere at a bar and someone says something really dumb and they're like, her, well, that's a whole different story, man, because I find that the more I go out in public, not every crotch cricket grows up to be something worthwhile. I'm sorry.
Yeah, and hanging out with you in the past, I know you don't let people get away with much.
I know, it's pretty bad. I know, man. I'm getting old.
No, dude, I like it, man, because it's shit that I don't have to bother saying. You say what we're all thinking.
People just lie to your face.
Say it out loud. They
just lie to your face.
Mm-hmm.
People will just lie to your fucking face or say something stupid. And you got to bring them out. You're like, oh, Here's a funny story. I was just joking today. So I'm going to tell you this joke, folks. For those of you listening, I want you to pay attention to what I'm going to say. Because I was trying to get a rise out of somebody just because sometimes I do that. So I was at a store. Somebody was with me and they were a witness. And I was buying these things. And I said, I think I'm going to get that. My mom would really appreciate that. I'm just going to pick that up because there's only 2 left. So I get up to the front. And there's this kid there. And really cool kid, man. And kind of looked a little bit like, what's that little comedian's name you like? Kevin Hart.
Kevin Hart.
Right? He's kind of sprayed. He's like, oh, cool, And we're bullshitting together. And, and I'm keeping really stern because I'm just playing games, And he goes, oh, we don't have Apple Pay. I go, I know. I just got a message. So let me get my card out and put it in. And he goes, hey, would you like to round up the 50 cents to the Women's Foundation? And I said, I don't give a fuck about women. And he said, holy shit, man, that's awesome. Finally, some honesty, man. Awesome. I love people like you. This is a breath of fresh air. He yells it over the store. And I was just kidding. I go, bro, I was just playing. No, I don't want to donate anything, but I was just joking. I love women, clearly. But,
I hate that.
But he was like so excited that I said that. He was like, this guy's awesome, guy. He's going to tell everybody this guy said, I don't give a fuck about women,
Yeah.
And it's just funny because I have friends and I won't put their names out. We'll be somewhere like, hey, would you like to raise money for, special ed or whatever? And they're like, well, what do they do for the community? And then everybody's quiet. I'm like, this is the way I want to live. It's funny to me, and I'm sorry. So
everything's funny, dude. There's nothing that's not funny.
Somebody came and said, hey, we have this whole special needs group at school. We'd like you to come and do some work with it. I'll bring animals in there and do work with them. I don't care. But sometimes it's just funny to hit the target person just to poke a little bit and either piss them off or lighten up their day. And I really don't see. To me, it's all comedy. Because what you would really do when you joke about is 2 different things. I truly believe that.
Yeah, you're like me. You're always on. It just I can't turn it off, and it pisses people off.
I always try to do that.
I turn everything into a joke, and people get really angry. Especially if they're trying to have a serious conversation with me, and I'm like, you said boner.
No. No, Jeff doesn't do that.
Sometimes Jeff's normally pretty cool, but sometimes he throws some underhanded.
Oh, I know he does.
Shit, I'm like, you know what? That was fucking slick. God damn it. Fucking.
That's the thing, dude. You gotta, and you can do it too, Troy. It's the art of insulting people without them knowing you're insulting people.
I know. Hey, that's a learned art that we learned way back in the day when we were teenagers, Brett.
Yeah.
Right? Oh yeah. Like it's a passive aggressive shit talk.
Bro, I love
but it only, what I like about it though, and I know you still got it, Troy, is that when we would talk shit, but it was intellectual shit. And it was so in your face, slapped, that they just didn't say anything. They just look at you kind of dumbfounded, and you just, no emotion, no nothing, and just move on with your day. And it was hilarious.
That's because people underestimate.
That craft is still around today. It's just, I don't see it very often.
I do it all the time. To me, it's a game.
Yeah, I do too.
It's a game because I won't lie. I have a silver fucking tongue and it's working on platinum.
Yes, you do, man.
But people will say stuff to me sometimes, and I'm right there with it. But especially when you debate me, you better know exactly what you're going to talk about, because I'm going to take my pants down and wipe my face with my ass with your face. If you keep doing that.
I was going to say, dude.
But I would do that too for you, Jeff. But here, let me say this. Think about racism. I hate the word racist because we have to be very clear. And I had a really cool late night conversation with my neighbor. So he's Japanese American. He lives next door. And we were discussing politics and what was going on and stuff. And, he comes from his one family is royalty Japanese. The other family was just out in Kentucky, redneck like the rest of us, right? War happened. His mom happened to be Japanese. And she's still very, very Japanese. Everything's very nice. She comes over. She's very awesome. So we use the word racist. Someone's like, oh, well, you're fucking racist. Hitler was a racist. I believe more in the term prejudiced. I think you can be a little prejudiced against other human beings. Racist is a strong word to me. And he agreed. I said, man, when you think about a racist, you think of someone who eliminates other races because they're a dominant species or whatever, or they're the dominant race, excuse me. And I think that that's an evil thing. So to label someone as a racist that's a harsh thing, man, to me. I think that's an extremely extreme word. Prejudiced, I understand. Do I think people are prejudiced? Yes. I think every single race that walks on this planet is prejudiced of another race, no matter what they tell you, because it's just natural. That doesn't mean that you have to become a hateful person or a bigot either. Because if I was a racist, I can't hang out with Jeff because he's a fucking Jew. I'm not supposed to hang out because I'm a racist. I believe they should all be exterminated because that's the term. That's what that means. So I don't understand. When someone says that to me, I find it pisses me off. And more people will say it to me. Jeff doesn't look Jewish. No, he looks like white trash like the rest of us. So when someone calls him, I'm like, you have no right, man. Do you know what these people went through? Let's talk about the other side of racism with the Jewish people, what racism is. So when someone says that, it's just they're so ignorant because back to what we were talking about earlier, they put all that stuff on Instagram and Facebook and everybody that's like this, or if you wear a ball hat, or if you drive a John Deere tractor, you hate black people. And they paint this picture to little kids. And I've been following all this stuff that these little kids are going back to their schools and quitting school. They're like, I'm going to homeschool because, and one father got up and was talking about, why do we have sexual books like this? And why do we have why is there a book in here showing history with somebody? And I know, well, they got to be, you don't teach a 7-year-old why there's a black and white photo of ethnic people in trees, right, with blood all over them or roped up with other people looking up like it's a thing. I don't think you do that to a 7-year-old kid. It shouldn't be available for them yet. No. Let their brain come up a little bit and then have that conversation.
Yeah, but kids at 7 are not like we were at 7.
Look when we were 7 years old. I don't believe in not teaching the truth. I also believe in just there's ways to do it. Like, oh, you want to know where babies come from? Let me go get mommy. I'm going to fuck her right here on the couch, and you can watch. It's the same thing. There's ways of educating, and there's ways of just being stupid.
Well, you need to let our kids be innocent, too, for the period of time that they get to.
Yeah, but the internet has already zapped that. It's never going to change.
For sure.
There's you have to also prepare them for what life's going to bring. Otherwise, they're going to grow up like, and I hate to put down the millennials, but I see more people who are so fucking entitled to shit. I'm sorry, but us Gen Xers had it great. We had it hard, but we had it good. And we grew up, throwing fists and getting in trouble and ditching the cops.
Yep.
But we still didn't expect shit when we didn't graduate from college and expect to get a fucking, I want 150 grand a year job. We had this thing called entry level. Yeah, we all got into. Dude, when I started working, the minimum wage, I'm really dating myself, was $3.37 an hour. I mean,
I'll start it somewhere.
Yep.
You got paid 4 cents more than I did.
Hey, man, I'm just glad I was on the cusp of that Gen X stuff. Because most people that aren't our age, Jeff, because we're a little younger than you, and Brett and I are the same age, but we fall in Gen X. But a lot of these people that are in their late 30s, they're fucking millennials. They don't even know it.
Yeah, that's me.
That Gen Y.
My sister's a millennial.
That was a nothing generation.
Think about that.
I do not agree with a lot of what's going on out there. I'll just say that, even though I fall in the millennial age group.
Yeah, I mean, we
That's
definitely.
True, I agree with that, but we also didn't have as much media either.
There was no social media to spread it around,
Yeah, because that place that just got shut up in Texas, nobody would have known about that without social media. I wouldn't have known here.
Yeah, think about fucking Columbine. I mean, what was what?
Oh yeah, 99.
99. When was
99.
Columbine?
Yeah, 99 was when the
99.
year was 24 years ago.
I mean, think about in 99 if it was 89 and how more few people would know because the internet was so in its infancy. Do you remember if you Googled alligators in 1989? Not Googled, but it was Ask Jeeves or whatever fucking.
I remember Ask Jeeves.
Yeah.
I remember.
You would get like 6 fucking hits. It wouldn't even be a full page.
Yep.
And now you get 14,000 pages with a dozen hits a piece, and you know,
well, yeah, just to also touch on what you said about Columbine, like with today's society, the way we look at stuff, right? So we have the video, and we put the video on a 30-second loop, and then we stick it on TikTok. So when we were kids and news came on, they're like, "Oh, there was a shooting today in an Illinois school. 10 students were killed, 2 teachers were wounded." You talk about it, you're like, "Oh fuck, did you hear about that? Some kids might." Yeah. You're not looking at these kids getting blown away. Oh my God, look at him running, and everybody's like, "Oh, let me look. Oh, look, he loses his legs right there. Oh my God."
Dude, we did have,
and that's where we keep perpetuating it, and then it goes and goes and goes and goes, and then it gets into somebody who gets easily offended, and then they start a movement and a nonprofit and raise money that they never give money to. It's a big fucking joke, folks. Most of the shit is a joke to me. Because they're not doing it the right way. They're using it for division. I completely believe that.
Absolutely. Both sides use the news for division. And every side goes, "Oh, I can't believe they're politicizing that." Just by saying that, you're politicizing it back. You know, it's I don't care if you're Republican, Democrat, Communist, Green Party. It's all the fucking same. Everybody's got their agenda. Everybody's got an ulterior motive, and they're always running game.
Look.
You know, Trump's running game, Biden's running game, Bernie Sanders is running game. They're all fucking running game, dude.
Yeah, because it's all about what they can gain out of it. All I'm going to say is this:
they get these, and they get these people that follow them blindly. That if some of these politicians went on TV right now and said, "Take up arms and take over the country," whatever, a lot of people would do it because they just don't. You know, they revere these people as gods, or you know. That's why my little quote today, man, is actually super apropos.
No gods,
no masters, man.
So
shit, my dog got the zoomies.
I heard that. I could hear the floor.
Oh, dude, he came. He's fucking just running back and forth on the couch, destroying it, of course. But.
You can never. I'm just going to say this. I mean, there's a lot of retired, early retired military. Guys that would be my age or Brett's age. That I think the public school system could have an office there, and I think that there could be a trained personnel there to watch for that type of stuff. And I think that would be one way to curb that. And I'm sure there's some schools too poor to do it, but you know what, guys? You want some safety? Parents come together, put some money in. But if I wanted to, as an adult male, any one of us adult males here, maybe Brittany, if she can muster up the guts, can go to Home Depot and buy a sling blade or a machete, and I can go into the classroom, and I guarantee you I can probably get through 10, 12 kids' heads before they get me down, right?
Yeah, but I mean, a gun is going to be more.
Does that mean?
And you know, you can't deny that a gun's going to be more efficient.
Does that mean that they're going to ban machetes now?
Yeah, but, well, I mean, you can't. I mean, I don't know what your machete throwing prowess is exactly, but if kids are running away, it's not like you can throw your machete in their back. I mean, you could maybe one kid if you get lucky.
They got to run by me in that door, and I can, dude. It's going to be whack-a-mole.
Without a doubt, dude. You just stand at the door. I don't know why they go into the classroom, but you know, you could stand at the door and fucking kill them with a goddamn penknife. But you know, a gun is a tool to me. Yep. I have guns, I keep guns, and I carry a gun, and it's a tool to use if the tool's needed. People. You know, and I am of the ilk that you can have as many and whatever type of guns you want. And that, but I mean, you should be subject to some scrutiny because people do go
like
crazy.
A driver's license or anything else.
You know, and it pisses me off that the politics of it all is about who the person is, or it was a trans shooter, see, or it was a Nazi shooter. It doesn't matter. A shooter's a shooter's a shooter. You know, it shouldn't be politicized. It shouldn't be put into red and blue. You know, but guns definitely make it easier. And you know me, I'm a gun guy. I love guns. I love to shoot. And you
can ban them all day long. And there's the guys that are going to do the shootings are still going to get a gun. You'll never stop it.
Without a doubt. And I don't think anybody really wants to ban guns, but I don't
know, bro.
As soon as you talk about like common sense gun legislation, people are like, oh, they want to take our guns. They're going to come house to house. Never going to happen. Even if they tried, never going to happen. And I wouldn't give up mine, man. I wouldn't, because I feel that
then
I made it to adulthood, and that gives me the right to carry a gun. And I have no nefarious plans with it.
But everybody they want to eliminate everything they're scared of. So a lot of these people, look, man, I got people in my own circle that hang around my family, breathe the same fucking air I do, that we're supposedly friends, that are everything I stand for, or my family or my friends, they're against. We're the worst. We're the biggest pieces of shit. But you still break bread with these cocksuckers. But you know what? In the end game, when they needed them, we're the ones they call every time. Every time.
Yeah, no, that pisses me off too, man. It's like you can't have a dissenting opinion from somebody without being a complete I like to go on Twitter and troll. I don't know if you knew that about me. I fuck with everybody. I used to be totes deplorbs, and now I'm manic satanic 666. Mostly fuck with the religious because they get crazy. But when if you tell people that you support something and they're like, you're a communist or now all of a sudden everybody in the Democratic Party is labeled a pedophile. I don't know when that shit happened, but and I'm sure there are plenty on both sides.
Sure.
Just like if everybody on the Republican side is labeled a Nazi, it's the same fucking bullshit, dude. You can't. You can't lump people together by their political parties and Give you a little lighter. And I'm very, very stoned right now. That's why I'm soapboxing.
Hey, you know what? I don't care. That's when you're being honest, Jeff.
It's true, dude. And that we have dissenting opinions sometimes, but that's why this show is great. Somebody asked me what it was about recently, and I said it's it's about life, but with dissenting opinions.
It's about whatever you want it to be.
That's right, bro. You're telling me. It's like Seinfeld. It's about nothing.
The couple of points that I want to make that after this recent shooting took place, and Mom was right with her statement. They're going to find a way, no matter what. If they're sick in the head and they want to kill kids, they're going to find a way. Doesn't matter what weapon they have to kill them. Happens every day. That's why there's drownings. That's why there's certain murdering that happens to kids every day. If they're going to kill a kid, they're going to do it because they're just sick. And my biggest problem is I do not want to know the name of the murderer. I don't want to see their face, and I don't want it sensationalized in the way that they do. Because in my opinion, you're a murderer. There should be no credit to you. There should be no name to you or value to you. You murdered and hurt and injured children that were innocent. Therefore, I don't want to know anything about you other than you're a murderer. The only people I want to know about are the victims and the victims' families. And the problem that we have now, when you sensationalize these murderers, then you have copycats that come out and all of a sudden say, well, that's how I want to go out. I wanted to take a couple people out, and I'm going to take them out bigger because they're going to show my name all over the news. I'm going to become this really cool movie star, the next John Wick in a sense, but the villain John Wick, because it's sensationalized. And just today, I want everyone to know, Finn came up to me and he said, hey, Mommy. And I said, yeah, I was trying to get ready to come here. And he said, so guns they're not cool, right? And I said, no, guns aren't cool. Because I don't want him thinking right now that it's cool to have guns. He goes,
guns are fucking cool.
He goes, guns are only cool in movies. And I said, right, only in movies. Because just last week, they had to do a safety drill that there was an active shooter on their campus. He's 6 years old. He had to take cover. He had to shelter with a friend, hug his friend until the cops came in and told him he was now safe. So he was telling me all of this, and now he's like questioning, well, are guns okay? And he's like, but guns are okay in movies. So I was like, yes, but I don't even know where he got this information from or where he's hearing it from. He's 6.
Probably. Yeah, but I mean,
but you sit there and you think to yourself, when did this become a thing? Looks
like Brett's getting touched by an angel.
He does. He looks like he has like a light shining.
Show me on the doll where the angel touched
about to drop something big on us. But
I'm waiting for that.
For me, I personally don't want to hear about it. And if everybody thinks that it is the guns, I disagree, because I want you to look at one of the latest murderings that just happened. It's in the news. of a man that went into a daycare and killed children with a hatchet. He killed 4 kids. So if you're sick,
I'm banning Home Depot with the sales of hatchets
all
tomorrow.
I'm saying is, if you're sick in the
putting a stop to this,
and you want to actually go and plan out, like some of these murderers have, to actually go out and kill kids or kill a place where there are young children, and you don't care, we have a bigger problem than just the guns.
Exactly. But like there was a comment, I can't say certain words on here, but you could go and learn how to build from the internet.
Yeah.
And you can make that stuff and you can take a lot more people out with it. But they're not going to stop PVC. You're not going to not be able to buy plastic. You're not going to be able to, I mean, so, you know, I think but it's easy right now. All it's done for is political gain. And I'm sorry, I think some of the shootings we hear about don't even really exist.
See, I probably disagree with that one. Only because if you look at, like, and I've mentioned this before, but any big conspiracy that would take a lot of people to perpetuate, somebody's going to talk, always. You know, I do too, Kim. I love guns. I have one within grabbing distance of me right now, as a matter of fact.
But you know, what's funny though is if you take away guns, right? No one has guns.
Yeah, but nobody's taking away guns.
Police officers have guns. Then when shit gets real, who are they calling? They're calling the police with the guns because they need someone to come and save them. How are we supposed to protect
countries
ourselves?
where police don't carry guns?
Go and get these things to protect ourselves? How are we supposed to?
Yeah, those cops get fucked every day.
Well,
every day.
Oh yeah.
You know, like in England and stuff, it's
just terrible. My biggest issue right now is stop sensationalize the murderers.
Let me tell you a story. I have a question here. I have a question. It says, "Are you a Sandy Hook conspiracy?"
They're a murderer.
Well, let me explain something to you. I was filming for a Discovery Channel TV series when this all was talked about, and they were bringing in. They were going to do a special on this particular person from that whole incident, right? So there was all this breakdown. So there were ambulances there that shouldn't have been there that were over 50 miles from the one station. Almost all the people that were in that, including the teachers and 20 or 30 of the students, were catastrophe actors. That I thought was interesting.
That's not true at all, though, man. I got to disagree on that one. In my opinion,
it's okay. They brought the guy in with Discovery. Something happened to him. You remember? Remember when they took him? Yeah. So the guy that was doing all the talking, he vanished. Yeah, they couldn't find him anymore. They put shit out for him and all this kind of stuff. And then they matched up some of the same people in the Boston bombing right afterwards. So there was and then they threw it right out the window.
I was actually living in both states while both of those things happened. I was living in Boston during the bombing, and I was living in.
The bombing didn't happen. I never said.
Well, dude, I heard the bombing happen. I was on the roof of my building with my kids.
Interesting. I know they make it happen, but it's interesting how stuff like that can be done, and it's horrible that we actually have as a government the ability to do that.
But could I throw in a curveball?
Even if it wasn't a
Let's throw a curveball into this conspiracy for a second, right?
Uh-huh.
So these incidents did happen.
Correct.
Okay. Both actually happened, which we know that they did.
They did.
But who's to say that there weren't plants put in to rear up certain parties? So that's why you are seeing them.
Yeah, I mean, but who's to say there was? You know what I mean?
To say because
we don't hear about it anymore. They don't even talk about it.
But who's to say there was, Brett? You know what I mean? It's just like the guy they said was the FBI agent on January 6th, and it turned out he's just a fucking regular Joe construction worker.
No, I agree with you. I'm not saying that. I'm saying, but for conspiracy theorists, you could turn this any way you want.
So
you could always throw a curveball and say, so.
I don't disagree. That the ability, and I also don't disagree that our government's done that on many occasions. Right.
That's
the Gulf of Tonkin. I mean, there's a lot of stuff that the government's pulled off to rile up other countries or to rile up, you know, I mean, not for nothing.
That's why you can say, I can see where this conspiracy theory would stem from because we have seen it in past.
Sure. Oh, no, I know where they come from.
And you do.
I just don't agree. And I've seen the pictures, Troy, of the crisis actors. And a lot of them, if you look on Snopes, that's my favorite place to debunk.
Yeah, I like Snopes too.
Snopes has a lot of stuff on it. And, but yeah, the Boston bombing was so random, dude. It was like a fucking regular day. And nothing was different. You know, I mean, our government both sides of our government has fucking done terrible things to the American people. You know, things that we don't, and that we, if we all knew about, probably nobody would like any side. And, but I don't think that those two incidences were necessarily perpetuated by the government.
Kim, you're so fucking crazy, bro.
I love Kim. Kim's my people, man.
This leave Buff Bread alone.
The real question.
What did she say?
She says the real question. Did you read it? Oh,
the real question is, why does Brett look like he went to a jail to work out, but then decided to join the podcast?
Fucking Kim, dude. You're gonna fit right in the medical field without a doubt.
But yeah, the whole thing.
You guys just get heated. I mean, I can go off on this shit too, just the same as you guys. But
I totally you can. When we were doing all this,
I listened very
back and forth LA.
Yeah.
This guy vanishes, right? And then they were approached by, I guess, federal agents or governments at the center and told, we're not doing any more of this. This is going to be shut to stop it. So they weren't even allowed to talk about it anymore. And I'm like, well, why can't you talk about it anymore? What about the freedom of media? What do you mean? He's like, we can't even talk to you about it. All I can tell you is the guy disappeared. We cease and desist. It's done. I just thought it was weird. There were so many weird things going on. And so I never say they don't happen, but I just think that a lot of them are plants. And you can take it any which way you want. Kids that are on the back of milk cartons could be super soldiers right now. Kids that just get abducted out of nowhere. These top athletes, teenagers that they're vanished, kidnapped, and gone.
Hey, man.
You know the fuck's taking them. And I mean, God, and if people who have been to the military like yourself, Brett, there's a lot of stuff that goes on. We just don't know.
And
they use whatever they want. And that's all
I think that what we know, I think we know more about the ocean than we do about fucking what the government does.
There's a lot of shit. I'll say this. There's a lot of shit that, at least in my position there, that I still don't understand. And that's why I got out. I was in 12 years and I didn't stay my 20 because there was answers, and the way my mind works, it was driving me nuts. Even if I could ask, I don't know if I want to know. I don't know if I'd want to know. So a lot of that comes into play where when you open your mouth too much about shit, what happens to people? What happens to them?
They're gone usually.
I mean,
you're talking about whistleblowers
aren't gone who open their mouth.
Look at our technology we have right now and shit. Like this shit is what we're doing right now is all dead technology. They just sold to us. We're fucking worker bees for these people.
Oh, without a doubt.
That's all there is to it.
We exist.
And they feed you and they feed you and they feed you and they spoon feed you all this shit. They divide the country, and we bitch about it.
That's exactly what they're doing.
You know, and
I agree 100%.
You know, it was just a nice little clean, everyday New York day when 9/11 happened too. But
yep.
You know, when you really.
By the way, I was on my way there too when that happened. Maybe I'm just a fucking black cat. I bought a ticket.
There's a lot of questions that I think.
On the 9th to fly on the 15th.
I think you should just stay where you are, Jeff. I don't think
Right? So yeah, I bought a ticket on the 9th to fly to New York City on the 15th, and then 9/11 happened, and I still flew. It was fucked up, but I still flew.
Yeah.
But I never felt
that
safe.
whole thing there is that whole thing. I mean, this is how I looked at it, and I know people hate me for it or whatever. I don't care. I really don't give a fuck.
Anybody who hates you for your opinion.
I don't care, man. I don't care. When they would say, well, you know, America, we got the best defense system, blah, blah, blah. Listen to me. If those three people got through like that, through our government,
it was more than three.
Just the fact that they were able to do that on our own.
It was 11.
We are fucking weak. And I don't believe that. I don't believe that. And I do come from a family that was military based, Marines, Navy, Army, all of them. And I don't believe that we're that weak. I totally believe that was a big business deal, and somebody interceded with somebody, and more people knew about it than you think. And that was just a small amount of people to sacrifice to do something that benefited them at a bigger level.
It's totally feasible.
Never think otherwise on that. Never. I don't care what anyone says.
To me, the conspiracy is more feasible that somebody used them to, and it could have even been our own government. You know what I mean?
believe it. I still believe that it was.
It's more feasible that somebody put the bug in their ear. Oh, let's attack America. You know what I mean? I don't think that they were shills. I don't think that the people on the planes were crisis actors or whatever else. I think most definitely the plane hit the Pentagon because all the people saw a plane and nobody actually saw a missile. But I think that was all probably orchestrated by somebody, whether it be some big Al Qaeda mucky muck or Bush, so he could fucking finish his daddy's war.
That's my point.
Or
my point.
I mean, even the CIA. The CIA has done the dirtiest shit in the world, dude. Starting with MK Ultra, the CIA's been fucked and shady ever since. You know, they fucking fed their own soldiers of their own country fucking LSD without telling them, put it in their food so they can watch them react.
That's horrible.
So it was like to them it was going to be mind control. They've been trying to control our minds since MK Ultra.
And that's my point. So
without a doubt, people like anybody who doesn't think they're shady.
No, I think they all knew what was going on. I think that there's a lot more to it, and that's about all I'm going to say before they get all ridiculous.
Wait. But why would 9/11 happen under Bush too?
But I think what she's saying is he knew as well. They all knew about it as well, and it was just they just kind of like because they talked about something that
Clinton knew about it. They all knew about it.
With the Clintons, they knew something too, and there was a whole bunch, and I think they were all involved.
Intelligence. That's fact. All involved. It's fact that the CIA had intelligence. It's fact that there was all kinds of chatter that they knew something was coming, and they probably could have stopped it. I mean, who's to say? But I think the real problem with 9/11 was that it was a huge government fuck up. You know, they even if we didn't orchestrate it, which I don't believe we did, but that's me. Even if we didn't, they still ignored signs, or they were fucking lazy, or somebody didn't want to make a phone call, and we ignored all the signs. And guess what? You know where Osama bin Laden got all his fucking weaponry? United States of America, man. Sure. We weaponized him to fight the Russians. Then the Russians left all the fucking military hardware in Afghanistan. That's where all those RPGs and spent shell casings come from. And so we put him into power.
There's people who project that. They know what's going to happen. You know, I could get on subjects here that just piss everybody off because some of it's just basic business if you really look at how things go.
Oh, it's all business, dude. The government is a business. It'll always be a business. You know, I mean, do you know how many people we have put into power and then fought to get out of power? We put the Sandinistas in power, and then we fucking funded the Contras to overthrow them. And then, the CIA helped fucking Castro defeat Batista, and coup in Cuba.
I mean, sometimes, Jeff, people are just stupid, like you said, and they go make a mistake and shoot up a school.
Of course.
Or a grocery store. Sometimes I agree. The only problem I have is when all of a sudden, when we're going into all these elections, 20 or 30 of them happen in a month. It's just ridiculous, man. Like, it's like all year it's quiet. Oh, wait, we're coming up on the 4th year now. We need, and I was
going to say, we don't have elections for over a year.
Yeah, but they want to get all this stuff passed. Now it was funny that when all that legislation went about Florida going no concealed permit or whatever, carry whatever going, then we have a major shooting, and then it's always right behind each other. It's never sporadic. I just don't understand.
But Florida does what they want anyway, and I think that school shootings have increased because of first of all, access to guns. You can't argue that it's certainly increased since the 70s and 80s.
Sure.
But I'm not saying that guns are bad. I'm just saying that access has increased. And then you have the drugs have gotten better, both legal and illegal, and you have kids like fucking being told from birth that they have mental health problems because they're a kid being a kid, or they're on the spectrum because it's a kid being a kid. It's a lot of that has to do with, and not to mention they're coddled from birth. So when they don't get what they want, they go fucking shoot up a school or whatever else. That's my opinion on it anyway.
Oh, that's true. I don't disagree with anything you just said. Yeah, mental health has definitely gotten worse because
without a doubt,
wants to fix it.
We perpetuate it.
Right. We try to encourage it.
And we instead of treating it with therapy and because that's how you treat that shit. You have to help bring it out and have people talk about it. They shove fucking drugs down their throat.
Yep.
You know, and
that's big pharma and they make money
every
off that.
fucking kid. I mean, so many people are on Prozac, Lexapro, whatever, that the water supply now contains traces of all those drugs, of benzos, of fucking SSRI inhibitors, stuff like that. I mean, they're finding it in public water supplies because it's so prevalent, and people flush their pills down the toilet or they piss in there. Who knows?
Dude, to me, I always know what it's about. It's about money.
Of course, everything's about money. And when they tell you it's not about money,
you do.
I mean, I do think that there are people out there that have asked for help. They need help. They know that they have mental health.
Mental health is a real thing.
It breaks my heart that we as a nation aren't helping more people with mental. We really aren't addressing it. We're not helping them.
No, we're drugging them, like you said. We just drug them.
I mean, like I've watched several videos that were from like cop cams that got the call of like a vet who wanted to take their own life. And, you know, if it hadn't been for this cop to like talk them down and help them get where they needed to get, but they feel like there's no out. They feel like they fought for our country. They fought for our nation. And some of these guys are younger, Brett, some of them are your age. And it's like, it breaks my heart because I relate to both sides. I understand where the cop's saying, I want to help this individual because it's not their fault. Someone needed to be there for them. But then I also feel bad for the vet because they feel there's no out. There's no escaping this pain that I've had to go through. And it breaks my heart because I can feel on both parties, and watching those videos hits home. Like, we need to be there for these people who really are asking for help, that call the suicide lines because they just feel that that's their only out. Like, and it breaks my heart, but we need to do more.
More cops need to be trained like that guy. You need to be trained to handle mental health problems.
Yeah, good luck.
And that's a huge problem because if somebody's freaking out, you know what I mean? The first instinct is to tase them or shoot them. Then you're fucked. There has to be, you know, more mental health training, more ways to recognize mental health problems, and more ways to talk people down and to mitigate the problems.
Well, and there's people that are trained for that, but they're not in every county. They're not in every
right,
district,
but they shouldn't be in every county. They should be in every uniform.
That's what I mean, but that's the problem. That is a huge problem.
That is the problem. I agree with you 100%. Everybody in uniform should be trained to handle mental health problems because they're going to be the first line of defense. EMTs and police and fire are going to be the ones who encounter it first. And if they don't know how to handle it, it's going to exacerbate the problem.
Well, and like Troy mentioned earlier, he was saying, you know, the parents or whatever in the schools, we could all gather together. But do you understand that there are several vets that have come forward since a lot of these shooting threats and the shootings recently who are coming forward and saying, I freely volunteer to protect these kids in elementary and high school and middle school.
Sure.
I will come to the property armed. I am a trained vet. They will not make it through the front door. And they're offering themselves and being denied. They are offering themselves as free service to protect the children and the teachers. Why are we not allowing this? That's crazy.
That's a double-edged sword, Brittany. You got to think that, you know, I mean, and you know, I support and love my vets, you know, Brett. And but you can't put somebody in a school with a gun without knowing that they're going to be stable. And it's sad, but it's true that a lot of vets come back with PTSD. The VA does fuck all to treat them. You know, they throw them a bunch of pills and send them home.
But you can do a test on that. You can do a psych evaluation because they do it every day.
Oh, without a doubt. Of course there has to be.
So if you have a vet that comes forward and says, listen, I would like to volunteer. I'm willing to go through the psych to make sure that I'm sound. I think that we should allow it. I think we should honestly allow it to happen.
Or
they don't even do that with the cops.
I know, I know that's terrible. Or we do train the cops.
They have to pay the cops, and most schools in Florida have armed resource officers on site now.
Yeah, they do. When I do the Great American,
my buddy is one.
Yep.
My buddy Darren's a
police
resource
officer that's on the school property at all times, armed, and he continually drives. Yeah.
Right,
So I
and
think
they
that's a great
handle if
idea, and I
there's
think
any
the public
arrest to
school
be done
system-
or confrontation is all handled by the on-site cop.
Yep,
I mean,
and I
even at
think
my
that's
kid's
great.
elementary school, there's a cop there every morning.
I think that's great, and we should have. I think the public school systems in their district should have their own police department trained.
I mean, colleges do.
And that's all they need to focus on.
Colleges have their own police departments. Fucking like stadium campuses have their own police departments. Google. I mean, it to give them police power, they really should. I think they do have a department that is for schools, but I think it's loose. I don't think it's like a college police.
Well, tighten it up then, right? Then tighten it up. If everybody's concerned,
they are sworn officers. I agree. I think that,
I'm sure that there are parents right now in those districts that would be willing to pay a little extra in taxes to have
for sure.
I don't know about that.
I for sure would. To know that.
How about we funnel the ridiculous amounts of taxes that we pay to.
But that's what I'm saying. I'm just making a point that
right.
Can't say it's because of money, because
we need to.
People want some safety for their kids, and unfortunately, there isn't a lot of people that can keep their kids at home and hold a job at the same time. They have to put them in school, and if they're not making enough money, because once again,
I love my kids,
bracket and everything,
but sometimes
you cannot even send them to a private school. You can't afford it.
No, you can't.
Yeah, but I went to a private school up until 9th grade, and let me tell you, I fucking did more dirt at that fucking private school. I saw guns at that private school. I always had like knives and shit under my fucking mattress, man. There's some rough ass rich kids out there, let me tell you. But no, I think that the entire education system in this country is fucked anyway. Core curriculum and shit like that. It's just we want to teach every kid the same thing when they're all fucking different.
Well, I know Finn's school struggles trying to take care of the students that they have, and they have a lot of students that are on spectrum that need that extra aid and assistance, and they struggle. But I mean, even like for safety, I'm thankful that there is a police officer, a sheriff. I don't know. I know she's with the sheriff's department. She's there.
And like him.
Morning to night. She has an office on the property. She's always there, like always there during the school hours, always there. So there is that little bit of comfort to know. But like right after the incident happened, the very next day, there was 2 sheriffs and a police officer, not on top of the other police officer that's on there. That was there for the morning during the drop off, stayed for an extra couple hours, then came back at pickup. Like they picked up even in my area. And I was actually thankful for that. Like I was grateful that they did that under the circumstances, because what I didn't know was that there were fake threats being made all week throughout Florida. So thank God they actually stepped up and came to the school.
Yeah, they would text us at Ruby School when there was a threat yesterday. It's ridiculous.
We had that happen. Did I tell you that?
What?
I had that happen at Finn School.
What's that?
We had a bomb threat yesterday. I'm like, I should have been notified first fucking thing.
I had that happen. They sent us. They called us that night.
Cap, knock it
off. Said they were looking into it after somebody had posted a picture of themselves with a gun.
Stop.
In an elementary school. In the bathroom, and they're like, we're looking into it. It was originally posted in Orlando.
That's all for someone to get likes.
It was then shared everywhere, right? Well, that's another problem with social media. But it was like then shared everywhere, but they didn't want it to cause a trend, so they started like checking all the schools and checking everybody after that to make sure it wasn't going to become a copycat situation in school. But we didn't find out about it until that night when they called from school to give their like nightly checkup to let you know what happened in the day. And I was like, I would have liked to have known this. I would have gone to school and gotten
I think Jeff should have been called too.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. Like, no, I have an awesome teacher.
Gee, Heidi said they're doing it there too.
About everything, which thank God.
I'm sure there's going to be all kinds of threats and everything going on right now. It's going to happen.
Guns. People think it's a fucking joke, dude. If you threaten to blow up a school for a joke, you should be fucking prosecuted as if you were going to blow up that fucking school. I do not give a shit.
Yep, you should be.
Put people out there, just like you fucking swat people, or I don't know if kids do that anymore, but or you falsely accuse somebody of something. You should be punished by that crime. Period.
I think being a shooter and doing that stuff is just trying to be famous.
Yeah, of course.
Most of the time it is. That's
or death or suicide by cop.
But look at how we
probably both, dude.
A lot of those people are like, well, I want to go out like that. I want to go out in a big blaze like that. Like, that's awesome. I'm all over the news and my name will be then known. I don't like that.
But you'll be then
Let's
dead.
not put the name of the murderer out there. I'm sorry. I don't care that you were once a cool person. You aren't cool today because you took out innocent kids for no reason. So what you want to do to yourself, then I feel sorry for. I feel sorry that we failed you so that you felt you had to take yourself out and no one was there to help you. That I feel sorry for. But when
Agreed,
you want
Ken.
to go after kids or other innocent people to take out with you, I've got a problem. I don't want to know anything about you, and I don't want to know your name. You're a murderer, and that's where it is. I want to only talk about the poor victims and the families that were involved. That's it. That's where my heart is. That's where I pour everything into. Them, not
Cat, knock it off.
the murderer. I don't care about the murderer. Nobody should care about the murderer.
That's true.
I don't want to hear the name. I don't want to know what they ate the morning as they went to plot the murder. I don't give a shit what you ate.
But serial killer and high
Well, they
rated
ate cereal.
rating cards are a big thing. Like I got some Jeffrey Dahmer cards and stuff.
Oh my God.
Hey,
Wait, hey, Brittany, serial killers eat cereal for breakfast.
that's right. They do.
Nice one, Jeff. Nice one.
Thank you. I got dad jokes. It's kind of what we do.
I will.
Yeah, sorry, y'all. I was all over the place tonight.
No, it was good though. I really had a good time with it. I just think that
I don't want to get in trouble for anything I said, but I'm a parent.
What do you mean
I've got
you don't
a
want to
kid
get in trouble?
school.
You wouldn't get in trouble with me.
What?
I agree that everybody's opinion counts, man. I don't care who you are.
I'm about this right now because I'm like, nobody is paying attention to the actual issue. Not us here. I'm just saying in general. From what I'm reading, they're not paying attention to the actual issue at hand, and it's like, if somebody wants to do something, they're going to do it any way they want.
Listen,
it doesn't even matter.
I'm the type of guy. I don't give when it comes to what you stand for. If you're a part of anyone, anything that you have to subside that for, I'm done with it. I don't care if it's $1 million job. You know what I'm saying? I'm not going to bend like that because I have to live with myself at the end of the day. And so if there's some way, I don't care if that 10 people think I'm wrong, but if I believe in it, Hatebreed wrote a song sometimes, stand for what you believe is standing alone. And that's it. And sometimes you got to be like that. And I've been in many places where they're like, oh, well, Troy, you really can't look that way. And I go, well, fuck you, then go hire fucking pedo Bob. I don't give a fuck. I'm not doing it because I'm not going to change me. I don't want to change. I've made it this long. I don't want to be any different. And whatever you choose to do, just be yourself and continually go forward.
Well, I don't have a problem with anybody. I think you should just be who you are. Be true to yourself.
Within
just
reason.
Don't hurt innocent people. Don't hurt children. I'm tired of seeing children in the news, to be quite honest. It's really starting to bother me mentally and emotionally.
It fires people up and it causes mental illness. So that's why they do it.
That's why it's in there.
Right.
And the algorithms learn that. So the moment you share it, they're like, ha, we got them. Now let's just keep bombarding their system with these horrible things to give this person anxiety all night and they can't sleep. But be you. I don't care what community you're a part of. I don't care what your views are. I don't care what your political party is. I think we all can be friends. I think we all can get along as long as you don't judge me and I don't judge you. But the moment you hurt a child or an animal or somebody undeserving of what you've just done, then you're dead to me. And I don't care what happens to you.
Well, I'm not.
But other than that, be who you are. I'm all about supporting everybody. I will always support you. But the moment you do something twisted like that, you're dead to me. And I don't want to know anything about you.
Well, I'm not going to do it for a while. So I'll be alive for a little bit.
Okay. Well,
what I was going to tell you was I'm not a religious person.
Though.
I'm not a religious person, but I heard a prayer once, when it said, Lord, give me the strength to accept the things I cannot change.
Yeah.
And I think that's a very wise thing to say, regardless if it was a prayer or a statement, because if you lay awake and get anxiety because you're looking at that, it's doing exactly what it's made to do. And you have to understand
prayer.
You have to choose to shut the shit off.
Yeah.
Half the time, I don't even know when there's a fucking hurricane coming. They'll go, hey, the hurricane's coming in 2 days. I'm like, what? Because I don't watch the news. I don't listen to anything. I listen to satellite radio and I live in my own bubble because I have enough people that are so absorbed with that. Somebody will tell me and I've got a couple days. But I just don't want to know. Like, so if they're like, well, a meteor's coming, kiss your loved ones. I want to be high on my front porch when it hits. I don't give a fuck. I don't want to be running around trying to kiss all my pets.
Right.
I mean,
well, I don't want to know anything.
That's what they do. And they continually push that agenda of fear and segregation. Brett, you hit it on the head well when you said that.
What it is, they keep us scared. They keep us subservient, man. It's
because that's what we all do. When even business owners on small levels, like you think about when you own a company or you're working with a company, your upper end, you don't care that, Jason didn't get his paycheck for his family. You don't give up. You're like, I'm so sorry about that. Let me give you a gift card and we'll take care of that while you're home eating your caviar and fucking your prostitutes. Shut your fucking mouth. If you don't think that it comes that way all the way down, it does, because people are the same. And money is not the root of all evil. Money just makes you what you are.
Right.
Money is a creator, whoever you are.
Are you saying money made me poor?
Whoever you are, someone came to you, Jeff, and said, you have all this power and all this money. Here's $500 million. I don't see you out buying and raping children, Jeff. I don't see you hurting people or doing anything like that. So money is not evil. Money just makes you what you are. So if you really want to get to know somebody,
it does change people, though.
Watch them get a little rich and see what happens, because that's the only way you're going to tell.
You find out who your true friends are when you hit the lottery, man. They're the ones that don't fucking come to you with their hand out.
I wouldn't, because I'm too proud to do that.
Well, you know what? Just for that, I'll give you $20 when I hit the lottery, dude.
I remember I was being a rebellious, young guy. And I thought it was real cool. And I was with my cousin. We ended up having to sleep in dumpsters, dude. And light fires on one side of the dumpster. We were bathing in the pizza place and the big ass buckets. And I'm thinking, man, did we really make a good decision by being fucking hard ass? But you know what? Sometimes I don't mind. So I'd rather live like that than have to bow down to somebody I don't want to bow to. It's just how I've always been.
Right. Better to die on your feet than live on your knees.
Brittany, I think we're all like that.
Oh my God. I get thrown into everything.
No, but I'm saying because, you have a different outlook on things. But I mean, I don't mind if they said, hey, you're going to lose all this. I'm going to be upset. And then I'm going to have to live under a bridge or something. Whatever. I'm not bound down before that asshole. And I'll climb up again.
I won't change my personal views for anyone. Like, that's just, you're either going to accept me for who I am and we'll make it work, or if not, then it was nice knowing you.
To me, it's like when you're a kid and you're climbing up that hill and you fall. Like, fuck, and you go again. Yeah. It's okay.
I totally forgot I wanted to say something before the show was over.
Jeez.
I am all for Bud Light doing whatever they wanted with their advertising, but I got to say this one thing. If you're going to protest Bud Light for anything, protest it because it sucks. For God's sakes, man. Thank God it wasn't a good beer that's in the news.
I know.
It's like, oh, yeah, Trash is doing a new advertising campaign, so we're going to protest it. Sorry for all you Bud Light drinkers out there, but.
See, I didn't even know what was going on. I was out last week and we went somewhere and we had Bud Light, and one of the dudes was like, well, I'm not drinking Bud Light. Jimmy was like, yeah, me neither. I didn't even ask because I'm like,
oh dude, it's dumb. Light. Just because they have a trans person in an ad. That's all what it's about. I've got
all these pictures, like in the thing. They're like, oh, look at this Bud Light can. It says, I sent it to you today. I thought it was hilarious. I'm like, man, I would totally have one on the show. Just support who we are. A sexy.
Because exactly. Why do you care that somebody in advertising is a dude that wants to be a chick? But Bud Light blows anyway. When I say I wouldn't fucking drink Bud Light, I wouldn't drink it long before any advertising, and that wouldn't affect me drinking it. It's just trash. But so that's my rant for the day, dude.
Hey, I love it. But that was a will to do it, Brett. You got anything fun to say? You're always laughing, man. I know you got shit.
Right. You want to ask all these people that are protesting Bud Light, is this really the fucking hill you want to die on?
I mean, I know exactly. That's what we were talking about earlier. Too much. Let's belong to something.
Who cares?
Right?
Yeah, who gives a shit, man? I didn't even know about it either. And then when I
heard about it the other day,
this fucking this transgender person, like in a fucking bubble bath, dude, smiling and giggling and shit. I'm like,
right?
You're gonna piss the people off.
If there was somebody holding a fucking
regardless of the fucking, it doesn't matter if it was fucking Schlitz, dude. It doesn't matter what it was. Pig's eye. It doesn't matter anything. It was just like, all right. You remember when they had like the whole thing about the whole I guess you'd call it like the gay movement. Like it was cool. It was a fad to be gay. And then they put gay people on TV.
Yep.
And I didn't give a shit. It's like, I don't care what you do.
I remember all that. Who cares? Yeah. We didn't care then.
But people fucking lost their minds. Like, I can't believe this shit. Blah, blah, blah. And they were going nuts about it. It's like, who cares? Man?
You got a remote in your hand. Change
Yeah.
the fucking channel.
Exactly. So I don't have any. Listen, when that came out, I know exactly what you're talking about. I remember the whole ad. It was funny. All these guys are like, we're here.
Indeed.
We're on TV. It was hilarious to me. I thought, good. If you know what, bro, you always listen. Being what I was, Brett, or being a biker, I want to be around my people. If there was a biker network, I'd be like, oh, look at this, man, fucking shootout at the OK Corral.
Did you ever go to the Blue Oyster Bar from the Police Academy movies?
And you're right. It's the same thing with the beer. Somebody saw it, and it doesn't matter what you believe or not. You get pissed off. But I never cared about that stuff. To me, it was funny, and some of the skits were hilarious. I don't know if you remember the kids in the hall.
I love the kids in the hall.
That was hilarious.
I love the kids in the hall.
Who cares who you're fucking as long as it's not a kid?
Exactly. I second that one.
You know what? As no animals or kids, you're good.
Exactly.
You're good.
I agree with that.
If I want to go over and cuddle up with Brett, that's my thing.
Yeah.
You guys would be a fucking gay power couple, dude. I'm telling you.
We would be. We would both be tops.
You can oil each other up and fucking work out together.
Flip. My point is that never bothered me. I was never insecure with my sexuality enough, and anyone who's ever known me, I never.
Gotcha.
I remember even when we would see it when Heidi was here, and her and I would hang out all the time when we were kids. And I think that you would see people, and you go to some of the churches, and they're like, "Well, you know, God never said anything about anything in the Bible about anything."
God does
not recognize gender. So that right there has nothing to do with God saying He hates homosexual. I think that's the stupidest thing you could say. And I remember thinking, why would you hate somebody because they're, who cares? I actually felt bad for them because they really couldn't be who they wanted to be. And in a way, at that time, not to the extreme, so don't get all butthurt when I say it. In a way, I could relate because I didn't follow that yuppie clown shit. I mean, everybody knew Brett when they're like Brett Stevens, the fucking dude with a side spike. They knew who Brett was. You had your own thing. We were our own people, and we had to fight that all the time. We're like, well, we should go down to
yeah, but we weren't.
Get you a nice.
We weren't bullies. We weren't assholes. We weren't none of that.
That's right, dude.
It was just like
we looked ridiculous. I did.
We were humble people.
We listened to punk rock. That's what we did.
We were humble, man. If you came and took a shit in our yard, we'd bite your head off. That was it.
That was it.
That's as far as it went.
People are like, why would you shit in someone's yard? Because how they think these days. They probably don't even know what you meant by that. And that's what I mean. And on the end of it, that's who we are as people. And there's people right now, Brett, that talk shit about me right now that are probably watching this right now.
Oh, yeah.
They make stuff up about me and stuff. And I always love the saying that nobody above you will ever bite your back. And that's so true. And so I believe, and Jeff and I have talked about this when we talk about the 9 commandments of Satanism, which is not worshiping Satan or killing goats or babies. It means you push your fellow man forward, and the man behind you pushes you, and you don't harm anyone. You know, you only retaliate when needed. You don't harm or kill animals unless it's defense or survival. I mean, It's all about living the right way, right?
Living
you don't
like
judge anybody. You don't hurt anybody. You don't steal. I mean, so, and then when we were coming up, it's all like, well, if you don't look like this, Buster, now you go get yourself a Gap polo now. And I want to see pleats on those pants, or you're for the devil. Fuck you. So,
dude, visible tattoos were a fucking death sentence.
Gay at that time?
Yeah, we used to call tattoos fucking on the hands job stoppers.
Because that's true.
And look at me now, though, dude. I'm fucking working in a hospital.
Because we got
Franciscan monk hospital.
Because we got to fight that. They didn't like us doing that shit.
I was going to say, I gave us a pat on the back, dude.
They didn't like any of that. But
that's Gen X. Gen X did that
because I wanted people to. I love it when people don't like me around. Like when we tried to get into the zoo, Jeff, and they wouldn't let us.
Oh, dude.
Only is how we look. Sometimes I like that. Or
it's funny to me because people who know me and talk to me know I'm articulate, intelligent, and a pretty gentle soul when it comes down to it.
I like when I'm at the grocery store, and I do it on purpose because in their little brains, right across the street is a mega church. It's like 2 super Walmarts plus Mars. I mean, it's huge. And so I'll throw on a black craft shirt, and I have to pretty much daily buy produce for my animals. And I've heard things like I'll be in line. They're like,
I bet you have.
I can feel Satan. I can feel Satan all through him in this aisle. And inside, I'm like, thank you, God, for letting that happen. You made my day.
Well, that's the thing is everything is so face value nowadays. It's like, you know, when I look at people with a lot of tats, like I don't have one tattoo. I never got any.
So you're the freak now, dude.
Never got any tattoos. But when I do, it's going to be, 10, 15 grand worth. Like I have a whole
Brett, he's
thing
gonna show
ready to
up
go.
2 years later and you're not gonna see any more skin. That will be Brett.
Yeah, fuck it.
Nowadays kids start tattooing themselves at the fingers. They
But if I met you in person,
neck.
I don't care what kind of tattoos you had on you. It's because you get to know somebody, build rapport with people.
Yeah.
You don't see the tattoos. You see the person.
I
don't
even realize I have them anymore, dude.
Jeff,
I forget.
I want to say this. I think tattoos in life
are dumb.
No.
Oh my God.
No, are earned. They're earned, man. Like you have to be ready to fight that battle. I mean,
not so much anymore, but it used to be that way.
This is what I'm telling you that makes me mad. And everybody says, well, why would you do that, Troy? You believe everybody should do what they want. Yes, I do. But when I see these yuppie cocks, dude, just doing some big area code on their neck, and I'm thinking, you didn't even know what you just did. We're not talking about a tattoo enthusiast. Someone goes, hey, I've always wanted to get a tattoo. I'm ready. And they go do it. I respect that. But these guys that come out of like these multi-million-dollar neighborhoods, or they're pulling up in their Tesla and they get out with, fuck the police on their neck or something.
813.
Like, you don't even know. You are a fucking, you know what I mean? And that still gets to me. Like there's some people that should, and there's some people that should. I think that's but it's freedom of art and skin. I just think that some of it's done out of context.
If you look at some of the old like Spalding and Rogers flash, there was a lot of stuff that if people got tattooed, they can get pretty fucked up. I mean, there was stuff that looked just like death's heads, a lot of stuff.
Yep.
And I mean, most people in the industry at least knew enough to say you don't want that tattoo. You don't. And you remember like they used to have like fucking. I don't even remember there was old Spalding and Rogers Y sheets. There was a fucking swastika octopus.
Yep.
Remember
I do remember that.
Yeah.
That used to be
I came so close. I was like, people would lose their fucking minds if I got this shit tattooed on me.
See, now, Kim, so spider webs on elbows and things have a meaning. And then it got to be.
They do?
And then it got to be used. Yeah. They have
It's a prison thing.
Yeah.
I was never in prison, y'all.
But there's a whole bunch of, that's what I'm saying. Like before you do something, you should always look and see before, because you should
without a doubt, man. People ask me all the time because I got this. People are like, "Did you kill somebody?" I was like, "Not as far as you know."
Yeah. See, I learned very young what the teardrop meant because of this one. Except it was about clowns who I already hated, and I was really young. And he was like, he literally, I don't know how you don't remember this. Because I was like, I hate clowns. And you're like, oh, is it because the teardrops? And I was like, no, I just think they're sad. And you're like, no, those teardrops are the people they've murdered. And I was like,
oh.
You don't remember telling me that?
No, I do now.
Oh my God. I was like, no, I hate clowns and all of them. Oh my God. Brett, you know how you talked to me as a little kid. You both were fun with that, with your games. But I was like tiny when he says here. I couldn't have been more than like 7.
I envy Brett because he remembers a lot of shit, and then he reminds me, and I'm like, oh man, that's awesome, because I forgot.
Oh my God,
and memories I wish I would have remembered.
So many good memories of Brett in the house. You probably remember. You came to get Troy. I was coming up, like, remember the living room? How we had just like the 3 stairs, and then Mom and Dad's room went up. So like you were leaning over, and you had a white leather jacket on.
Of course he did.
in his jeans, and he had his white sneakers, but he was like, he was leaning over on the thing.
Leather
he did. It was white leather, and he looked at me and he's like, "Where are you going?" And I was like, "I'm gonna go in my room." And like I went past him into my old Mickey Minnie Mouse room or whatever. And I was like, "What are you doing?" He's like, "I'm waiting on your brother." And then I was in there for a second, and then Brett comes in and he stands at the doorway, and he's just got his arms folded, and he's just standing at the doorway, and he's watching me, asking about my Barbies and if they had names. And he had like this whole conversation with me. And then he asked me like, well, does Barbie have a preference of the car she likes? Like, cause she has a limousine and she has a Jeep. And I was like,
but you had the whole setup though, Britt. I mean, I
did.
You like had the whole setup. Like it was a freaking mansion. You had the cars, you had the Jeep. You had all that shit.
I remember
the cars. But it was so funny. Like, you were like one of the only.
I just like the fact that you did that in a white leather jacket.
You did. I remember that.
Awesome as fuck, man.
I remember that white leather jacket.
Hell
It was nobody's business. And then I remember hearing Troy coming through or whatever, and then you guys walked out the front door. But it was just funny to me. That was one of my fondest, like most fun memories of Brett, was because he took the time. Because Trey used to play with me all the time. He didn't care. He'd have fun with me. But out of all your friends,
Do
like,
they have preferences of the
Brett
cars
was
they
like
I love this.
one of the brothers that I always looked like he was a brother. Brett was a brother in
Thanks.
our
That's
family.
nice of you, Brittany.
And so
Well, I mean, you guys got to understand though. I mean, you guys as a family, believe it or not, took me in. And I don't know if you realize, but
That's awesome, Brett.
I didn't have a
love
family
that.
I
back then.
know. I thought it was cool. I loved it.
I didn't have a family back then. You guys took me in. I mean, I remember things about your dad that he'd probably roll over in his grave laughing about. I remember things about your mom. And you know what I knew about your family is they loved you kids beyond fucking
They
infinity.
did, man. We had good.
They
we had
loved
good
you.
family. We absolutely.
And you guys had a great family. And you said, I didn't have that. So when I saw that, you guys kind of made me feel a part of that. And I tried to have some sort of relationship with you guys. I mean, I had it with John, even though he pissed me off with the shit he would do. Josh, I really looked after Josh.
Yep.
yeah.
Oh yeah. And I mean, and he did some crazy shit. He was wilding out too. And you just kind of get that camaraderie about that.
Oh, I knew.
So
I
it was like,
protected if you and Brett were together.
Oh, it was.
Yeah.
The thing is, it was
Yeah.
game up family. I like that too. I think that's awesome.
But
yeah.
So
So
you got to
always
pick your
consider-
family. I mean, we picked Jeff.
I always considered we did, but I always
That's true.
considered Brett like a brother. I always like. I mean, I did. I mean, we have family photos with him in it.
I know, dude. I know.
Brett was family. There's no way around. I loved Brett running around.
well, I think we're gonna
Yeah, you better
we're
cut
gonna
it.
roll
I'm
out
gonna end
that
the show.
road soon.
I'm gonna end the show anyways. We ran over, and I appreciate it, and everybody for coming out and commenting again and checking us out. We got some things to do this evening, but I will definitely get a hold of you, Brett. You still got to come down,
Yep,
and
with your white
Yep.
leather jacket if you still have it.
Oh yeah, dude. We'll go out.
Oh, he's got
some fun.
Absolutely, man. Looking forward to it. Love you guys.
We'll go
we'll
knock
hang out
back
for
a
sure.
couple of Bud Lights.
Nah, you can.
Paranormal investigation.
No, dude. I don't drink that crap.
yeah,
Got a
we'll do this
tattoo on the
for
small of your back and wear a wig, bud, and it'll be fine.
I
There
do
we
have a
go.
tattoo on the small of my back.
Love you, Heidi.
Yeah.
Lady,
guys,
y'all.
thanks for
Hey,
coming
thanks
in.
for
We love
coming out,
everybody.
everybody.
Christina. Go ahead, Jeff. What was that?
I just said thanks for coming out, everybody. Thanks for letting me rant.
Hey, thanks for letting us all rant and enjoy it and throw us these comments. We appreciate it. We'll see you next week. Brett, thanks for joining us, man. We appreciate it.